Everybody ready?
Ready.
Thank you, everyone, for being here today on what is for us a truly momentous moment and a momentous moment in Massachusetts gaming history. On behalf of my fellow commissioners and the entire Massachusetts Gaming Commission, we enthusiastically announce today that 11 gaming applicants have officially submitted the first phase application and the non-refundable $400,000 deposit. The Massachusetts legislature drafted the Expanded Gaming Act, prioritizing competition as a principal value. The Gaming Commission has vigorously carried that charge forward, resulting in the achievement of a gaming competition that is robust and primed to obtain the absolute maximum benefits in job creation, economic growth, revenue, and other amenities for the people of Massachusetts. So, without further ado, the final list of applications submitted to the Gaming Commission is as follows: MGM Springfield, Penn National Gaming Inc., Plain Ridge Racecourse, Hard Rock, Massachusetts, Wynn LLC, Mohegan Sun, Sterling Suffolk Racecourse, Suffolk Downs, Raynham Park, Mass Gaming and Entertainment LLC, PPE Casino Resorts, Crossroads, Massachusetts. And you have details on each of those organizations in the kits that were passed out. Background investigations for these applicants are already well underway. As most of you know, each institutional applicant for a gaming license, as well as their individual qualifiers, will undergo extensive background investigations to ensure that they meet the highest possible standards for good character, integrity, and financial suitability. We've established multiple investigative teams to conduct parallel investigations, which will also expedite the timeline. The teams are comprised of gaming experts from our consulting firms, Spectrum Gaming and Michael & Carroll, and collectively include former FBI agents, state investigators, prosecutors, Massachusetts State Police troopers, and accountants, all of whom have vast experience in all types of investigations, including background, corruption, organized criminal enterprise and racketeering, as well as corporate due diligence and gaming industry backgrounds for the largest gaming entities in the country. The investigations will cover the regulatory history in other jurisdictions, financial stability, compliance plan and history, and recent litigation, as well as other areas. The investigations for qualifiers, those individuals who are officers or board members or key investors of each applicant, will cover their employment history, criminal record, education, stock holdings, and financial suitability, as well as other areas. Investigations could take up to six months to complete, dependent on the complexity and the number of qualifiers in each application. The Gaming Commission will later announce when public versions of the applications will be made available. The applications must first be reviewed and processed by the investigators, both for completeness and for areas of confidentiality. We're already well underway writing the regulations for the Phase 2 process, which will focus on the applicant's actual site-specific plan. Phase 2 regulations are expected to be released by the summer of next year, summer actually of this year. The Commission has made a determination to first proceed with the issuance of a single slots license in an effort to further speed up the licensing process. It's anticipated the slots parlor license will be awarded by the end of 2013 or perhaps a little sooner. And we anticipate that the first resort casino license will be awarded on or before the end of February 2016. We're thrilled to have 2014. Sorry, thank you. We're thrilled to have you here and thrilled to have 11 gaming applicants, thrilled to have robust competition, and thank you, and we'll take questions if you have them.
Can you explain the two at the end there who are applying with an unknown region?
People did not have to, applicants did not have to tell us which region they were competing for. So we don't know. You're represented on the map. We don't know for sure where they're going to be located. They had to give us they couldn't be in Region C, and they had to give us their background information and their check, but they didn't have to tell us what region.
Can you comment on any petitions?
22 News has been told that.
I'm sorry?
22 News has been told that someone has a lawyer working for Western Massachusetts Development Company has filed an extension, a petition for an extension for a potential casino in Holyoke. Would you extend the deadline?
We have been very rigorous about January 15th, 5 o'clock being the deadline. We do have a process in our regs, which we wrote for this background check phase, where our deadlines can be made. And if anybody applies to us for, formally for a waiver under that reg, we will look at it and talk about it in a public meeting. But fundamentally, we're adhering to the schedule.
Can you confirm the petition that was received by that company and or a mayor of Chicopee as well?
We have received some last-minute, literally last-minute correspondence within the last hour, and I'm not exactly sure who they came from, but there have been several entities that have indicated a wish to get a waiver if they could.
Could this slow the process overall for Region B?
The waiver?
Yes.
Well, in the first place, there is no waiver until we get a formal application, until we decide on whether we would do that. We would probably take this up next Thursday. Yeah, I suppose it might have to slow things down. That would be one of the things we would take into consideration if we wanted to consider a waiver.
Do you know how many entities have filed for waivers?
I think we have two that are kind of formal that refer to our regs. And there are at least one or two others that we've sort of heard about as much about as you've heard about.
Steve, what would be, does the statute spell out under what criteria you would be authorized to give a waiver? What would be the factors you take in mind deciding whether to do that or not?
Do you remember that there are criteria listed in
The statute doesn't talk about
Commissioner McHugh?
The statute doesn't talk about the waiver regulations, but our regulations do. And basically they talk about the reason for the request and the impact that granting the waiver would have on the ability of the Commission to carry out its mission and its responsibilities. So the kind of thing that was just asked about whether it would cause a delay in Region B, that's something we have to take into account and see whether
Did he say how many came in today?
Regulations, waivers, something in our discretion that we'd like to grant.
Under what circumstances, as you conduct these background investigations over the next 6 months or so, under what circumstances might somebody get knocked out of the competition? What would have to show up?
Well, it's fundamental. It would be material issues in our judgment in their integrity, character, financial suitability. Those, we have broad discretion to determine their adequacy within those criteria.
And would that be open to the public at all, to get public input or have public questioning over your criteria?
Just our criteria.
Well, or your, as you say, you have broad discretion, so I know some members of the public are wondering, what does that entail, and will there be an opportunity for the public to have their own questions about it?
Right. Does anybody have a better answer than I have on the process, where the public might be involved in the process of
There are, again, in the regulations, provisions for a hearing at the end, if a hearing is appropriate, and it would be at that time that any questions of that type could be raised.
Would that be a hearing for each particular region? Like
A hearing with respect to each of the applicants, right, if necessary. There would be a hearing, and at that point, questions could be raised.
For the two...
We have made a point, and many of you have heard me say this many times. Job one for us is to make sure that the public knows and the participants know that this is a participatory, transparent, and fair process. We will be as transparent in an issue like this as we possibly can be, while also respecting the legitimate confidentiality of the people involved.
For the two applicants who have not disclosed their location, when are they going to be required to do that publicly?
If they pass their background check, me if I'm right on this, but if they are found suitable in the background check, they will then have to go to a community and negotiate a host community agreement and have a referendum with the people, and then bring us an application. So sometime pretty soon, they will have to start working with a host community and reveal what community they will be in.
That would be after a background check?
That's well, they can do it whenever they want.
Okay.
Most of these applicants, these names you see here, most of these applicants are already working with communities.
Right.
And as a matter of prudence, I would say that it's probably time to get working on that. But we don't have any deadline for that. It's when they get around to negotiating with a host community.
Sorry, will they have to have an agreement, a host community agreement before you go to phase two and the site
Well,
surveys?
that is part of phase two. The legislation was absolutely foursquare that a proposal can only come to the Gaming Commission after it's been approved by a local community. And approved means A, a host community agreement, B, a referendum on that host community agreement, and C, signed surrounding community agreements with any community which is a surrounding community. So that process is all a part of the phase two application process, because part of what they need to put in their application is their host community agreement, evidence of the referendum, and all the surrounding community agreements.
How much influence can a surrounding community have over whether a certain community is allowed to build a casino there?
This is not something that we've fleshed out at any great length at this point. I think it's right to say that it's our understanding of the intent of the legislature that there is a reasonableness relationship between surrounding communities and applicants. That there is meant to be a good faith effort to understand the negative consequences of having a casino near your surrounding community, and to have a good faith negotiation to remedy those consequences. Beyond that, we've not really discussed it.
Well, Steve, I don't mean this to be cute in any way. The $400,000, in every case, the check is cleared, or it's a cashier's check or an electronic transfer, so all the money really is in for all these applicants?
Yes.
Stephen,
Permission is under it. Yes.
Does Crossroads have
Electronic transfer or a cashier's check?
Crossroads have a community site identified and dealt with yet?
I just know what, I'm not sure, well, it's definitely
Just
regional.
region, but do they have a community? The other two we know,
It's
communities.
we think it's military. I don't know if we have official notification that it's military.
Won't it be difficult to judge the suitability of, with an unspecified license type, to know whether somebody wants to build a $1 billion
Oh, no,
casino
we'll know what
or a
kind of
slot
license.
parlor?
We will know what kind of license. We will have to reach out, because we're gonna be doing the slots licenses first.
Right.
So we have to know whether you're gonna do a slots license or a casino, or a casino license, but we didn't happen to put that, so we'll have to call these folks and find out.
Will it be possible for Springfield to come to agreements with the three entities that want to be in there? I don't know whether West Springfield qualifies for at least two. They can only come to an agreement with one?
Oh, no. No, this is very much up to the mayor. This is one further dimension of the local control that the legislation emphasizes so powerfully. The mayor, and I think he said, he might pick one, he might pick two of the two within his community to advance to the gaming commission.
Can you describe how it's been the last few days as we approach the deadline, and in the last few hours, how many people applied today or in the last few hours?
I don't know exactly, but I think we got four
Came in since yesterday.
Yeah, four came in today, and we have been working very, very hard. I mean, this is what we've been doing for the last 9 months, is trying to get a really competitive environment where we will have robust competition for every license. And it looks like we're gonna have 4 competitors for 2 of the licenses and 3 for another. So for us, it's been great. The last couple of days, people have been running around trying to get all their information together and line up their money. Somebody likened it to the end of a semester where all the students are running around trying to get their semester papers in.
And what happens to the money? I mean, I know it's non-refundable, but is it going to a specific?
We're going out for dinner tonight. That money is deposited in a separate account, and that money will be used principally to pay for the background check. These background checks are very, as I said, very, very comprehensive, very expensive. If you're an international company, which many of these companies are, you will have to go to the site of your international operations, or we may have to go to the site of your international operations. So that money goes to pay for the background check. At least 50,000 of each 400 is designated to be used by the host and surrounding communities to negotiate with the applicant for their community agreements, and more of it than the 50. So it's mostly for the investigations themselves, some of it for community mitigation negotiations.
One more question. Stephen, can you confirm
You said
whether?
2 companies asked for extensions. One is Paper City, who's the other one?
It is Good Samaritan, something or other, the 2 Holyoke.
portfolio.
Did you hear, from Mayor Bissonette of Chicopee or a Chicopee developer to file an extension?
We got a fax from the mayor of Chicopee. Only one page came through of the two-page letter. That came in at 5 minutes to 5. So
And he asked for an extension?
He appeared to be in the process of asking for an extension, but I haven't read the second page yet.
Okay, thank you. I'll stay behind for any additional questions.
Thank you, folks.
Thank